Hello everyone. In the previous video, we spoke about predation as one relationship in nature, right? Reminding you again that we're talking about relationship between different organisms. Uh, Now we talk about competition, right? अपना वो table याद है ना? Competition means दोनों negative negative. So it's a negative interspecific relationship. Now, when Darwin spoke about the struggle for existence and survival of the fittest, now everybody knows who Charles Darwin was and his theory of evolution. उसमें दो main points थे: struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. Right now, when we come to chapter on evolution, we will talk about it in a little detail. Now, he was convinced that interspecific competition is a force in evolution. What is interspecific competition? Competition between members of different species. Now, it was generally believed that competition occurs when closely related species compete for same resource, right? ना जब species एकदम closely related तो उनका resource भी same होगा, है ना? और वो भी resources कैसा? Limiting resources. तो definitely competition होगा. But this is not entirely true. Darwin was of the opinion that interspecific competition का role है. राइट जनरल बिलीफ क्या था नहीं क्लोजली रिलेटेड स्पीशीज लेकिन इसको निगेट करने के लिए अपने पास एक एग्जांपल है यहाँ पे राइट राइट प्लीज व्हेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग कंपटीशन बी वेरी अटेंटिव बिकॉज एनसीईआरटी ना इट पलटी मारता है स्टेटमेंट में सो प्लीज बी वेरी अटेंटिव नाउ व्हाट इज दिस एग्जांपल हियर In some shallow South American lakes, visiting flamingos and the fishes of the lake, they compete for their common food, the zooplankton. Right? Now, flamingos are coming from outside, but the fishes are staying in the lake. So, lake में जो zooplankton है, it is a resource for the flamingo also and the fishes also. Now, imagine flamingo and fishes, कोई तालमेल ही नहीं है. Totally unrelated species, but are they not competing for the same resource now? Right now, so पता चलता है ना when closely related species are competing for same resources they're limiting. This is not entirely true, and this example helps us explain that. Right. So point number one. Now point number two. Resources need not be limiting for competition. Right. now यहाँ पर क्या आया था? Resources are limiting. The second point is resources need not be limiting for competition to occur. Now, in one of the types of competition, which is interference competition, right? Resources limited नहीं है, resources abundant है, बहुत है. But one species का feeding efficiency is reduced because other species is interfering. It is inhibiting the other one. So this kind of a behavior is called as interference competition. Right? So if you're asked a question about resource being abundant, please think about interference competition. So how are we defining competition? Fitness of one species measured in terms of intrinsic rate of increase. ये उसका measuring rate है. But fitness of one species is significantly lower in the presence of another species. Now, see, if I am playing football अकेला, राइट ना ग्राउंड भी खाली है सामने कोई नहीं है राइट ना एंड गोल पोस्ट भी खाली है सो आई ड्रिबल प्रॉपर्ली एंड एवरीथिंग कुछ नहीं सीधा किक डायरेक्ट इन द गोल पोस्ट सामने कोई नहीं है बट डेफिनेटली व्हेन देयर इज अ टीम व्हिच इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी गोल पोस्ट पे गोलकीपर है तो डेफिनेटली फिटनेस ऑफ वन स्पीशीज लोअर हो जाएगा ना दैट इज कंपटीशन right so what is competition fitness of one species significantly lower in the presence of another that is how you define competition right next point now relatively easy to demonstrate in lab experiments what Gauss is the name of the ecologist biologist what the other ecologists did now what do they say when resources are limited the competitively superior species will eventually eliminate the other species. Makes perfect sense. Right now? So resources अगर कम है तो the superior one ultimately in the long run will eliminate the inferior one. But evidence, देखो फिर से पलटी मारा उन्होंने, evidence for such exclusion is not always conclusive, right? You can't make a general rule as such. Strong and persuasive circumstantial evidence does exist, however, in some cases. See, at the start of the chapter only, I told you, please be careful about the language which is used in the NCERT. Right? Now, what example they're giving? The Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island. Now, Galapagos Island was the island where Darwin had stopped at the time of voyage, and that is where the idea of different species coming from a single source, and uska pura theory ka idea came on Galapagos Island. So there was a tortoise by the name of Abingdon tortoise, which was a resident of Galapagos Island. It became extinct within a decade, 10 साल में, after goats were introduced on the island. Now, किसका feeding efficiency, browsing efficiency ज़्यादा है? Goat का, right ना? तो competitively superior है ये. So, in the long run, 10 years में, what has happened? The tortoise has become extinct. क्योंकि इसका browsing efficiency was competitively superior था. ठीक है ना? So, this is an example to explain what Gauss has said, what the Abingdon tortoise, right? Lots of examples in this chapter. Another concept that they write about in competition is competitive release, right? Now, what is the example? Let's read this first. Species whose distribution is restricted to a small geographical area, right? Now, how do we understand this? Right? We have one small geographical area, एक छोटा area है, उसमें दो species है, A and B, right? Now A बेचारा एक छोटे कोने में है, and पूरा जो majority of area is occupied by B, right? So B is the major competitively superior species, ज़्यादा area occupy किया है. A competitively inferior है, एकदम कोने में है, right? अब experimentally अगर हमने उस एरिया में से B यानी कि जो सुपीरियर है उसको निकाल दिया, so what will happen to A? Will not A start increasing its range now? Will not it start increasing its space now? Right? This is called competitive release. Right? क्या लिखा देखो, whose distribution is restricted, ये A हो गया अपना, to a small area. किसकी वजह से? Because of the presence of a competitively superior species. ये अपना B हो गया. So what happened when the species is experimentally removed? The small one, the inferior one, chota wala, is found to expand its distribution range dramatically. Now, the experiment conducted by Cornell. Now, what is this? I've got a small image for you. Dekho. Now, there is a small organism, right? It's called as a barnacle. Now, barnacle generally we find on the back of the whale. आगे मैं commensalism में भी बताऊंगा, right? But here we have on the sea coast, right? Barnacle का example we will also have in evolution, right? So, अब there is a large and competitively superior barnacle by the name of Balanus. देखो ये ग्रे वाला Balanus, can I see उसका distribution ना limited geographical area, छोटा सा area एकदम. तो do we find this Balanus का range is more? ठीक है? It dominates the intertidal area. And what is happening to the barnacle Cathameles? देखो यहाँ पे Cathameles छोटा सा कोने में एकदम है, right ना? So is this not the inferior one? This is the superior one. Up experimentally, if we remove the Balanus from here, what will happen to the Cathameles? It will start increasing its range. This is called as competitive release, right? I hope this is clear. See, बहुत सारे points हमने discuss किए, हाँ? We started with totally unrelated species. Flamingos or fishes वाला example, right? Then we defined competition. Then वो Abingdon वाला example किया, Abingdon tortoise and goat वाला example. And now we've done competitive release, right? Now, Gauss's competitive exclusion principle states that two closely related species competing for the same resource cannot coexist indefinitely, and the competitively inferior one will be eliminated eventually. This is called as Gauss's competitive exclusion principle, right? यानी कि जो inferior वाला है वो exclude हो जाएगा. That's why it is called as exclusion principle, right? What is it? Two closely related species. अब ये intra है या inter है? ये intra की बात कर रहा है. Competing for the same resource, right? Cannot coexist indefinitely. जो superior है, it will remain, inferior eliminate हो जाएगा. But this may be true if resources are limiting, not otherwise. Right ना? Unlimited resources हमने कहाँ बात किया था? We had talked about unlimited resources when we did interference competition. ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पर अगर resources limiting है तो ये रूल जो है ना वो अप्लाई हो सकता है, नहीं तो नहीं. More recent studies do not support such gross generalizations about competition. मतलब इसको तुम generalize नहीं कर सकते हो, right ना? While they do not rule out the occurrence of interspecific competition, ये इंट्रा के बारे में बात कर रहा है. It is not ruling out the occurrence of interspecific. They point out that species facing competition might evolve mechanisms that promote coexistence rather than exclusion. Again, I am telling you, friends, please be very careful about the language. This is the reason why I am going through every line of the NCERT with you. Right? You will not find me doing this for any other unit specifically. Right now, right? Because if there is one unit which I am really, tensed about in this entire 2 years of NCERT is 10th wala unit, ecology wala. Right? So पहले लाइन में जब बात कर रहा है, it is about intra, closely related, right? उसके में राइडर क्या डाल दिया कि हाँ, this can be true, perfect, but resources अगर limiting है तो इसको generalize नहीं कर सकते, right? It does not rule out occurrence of interspecific competition. अब they point out that species facing competition, right? Competition क्या है? Negatively interspecific. दोनों जो participating members है, दोनों को harm करेगा. अब यहाँ पे see how life is finding way. दोनों अब instead of competing, they want to coexist. मिल बांट के खाने का उनको पता है कि अगर compete करेंगे तो exclude हो जाएंगे, right? तो अब they have to evolve mechanisms that they can coexist. See how do they coexist? By a process called as resource partitioning. जो resource है उसको partition करो, उसको divide करो, मिल बांट के खाओ, right? If two species compete for the same resource, they can avoid competition by choosing, for example, different times for feeding or different foraging patterns, right? MacArthur ने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था, उसमें 5 closely related species of warblers. See this bird is called as a warbler. 5 different species. फिगर में 4 ही है, बट एक्सपेरिमेंट में 5 थे. लिविंग ऑन द सेम ट्री, रिसोर्स सेम हो गया उन लोग का. लिविंग ऑन द सेम ट्री were able to avoid competition and coexist due to behavioral differences in their foraging. Foraging का मतलब क्या होता है? When you search for food, it is called as foraging. Due to their foraging activities. देखो इतना मस्त देखो. This is foraging in the upper part, right? Can you see each one of the species has allocated their own part, right? तो सबने अपना एरिया डिवाइड कर लिया. So अब क्या हो गया? Are they competing against each other or are they coexisting? सब मिल बांट के रिसोर्स खा रहे ना. So this will avoid competition and promote coexistence. This is also one aspect of competition. It's called as resource partitioning, right? So resource partitioning के बाद ये competition का topic होता है खत्म, right? The third relationship which we have in nature is parasitism. We have the parasite and host relationship. Now, considering that parasitic mode of life, parasite always depends on host. यानी खाना पीना सब फ्री फंड में, बराबर ना, रहने का, खाने का, पीने का सब फ्री. So it is not surprising that parasitism has evolved in so many taxonomic groups. Right? कोई भी taxonomic group ले लो, parasitism का तुमको example मिल ही जाएगा, right from plants to higher vertebrates. Many parasites have evolved to be host specific. They will always be associated with a specific host in such a way that both host and parasite tend to co-evolve. I have used this word before in the class, co-evolve, right ना? यानी अगर देखो क्या लिखा है, host is evolving mechanism for rejecting the parasite. Host थक गया है, it is evolving, it wants to get rid of the parasite, लेकिन साथ में parasite will evolve mechanism to neutralize that, so that it is successful with the same host species. दोनों साथ में इवॉल्व हो रहे हैं, राइट? अब ऑपोजिट एंड ऑफ द स्पेक्ट्रम पे तुमको लेके जाऊं मैं, अगर होस्ट एक्सटिंक्ट हो गया तो क्या होगा पैरासाइट का? वो भी एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएगा कि नहीं? सो कैन वी कॉल दिस एज को एक्सटिंक्शन, isn't it? बट यहाँ पे we see they tend to co-evolve here. Now, in accordance with their lifestyle, parasites evolved special adaptations. Now, ये Aschelmanthus और Pneumathelminthus में सब पढ़ा है हम लोग ने. Loss of unnecessary sense organs, adhesive organs, hook suckers, right? ना digestive system नहीं है, high reproductive capacity. These are all special adaptations for parasitic mode of life. Now, life cycle of parasites are complex, involving one or two intermediate hosts or vectors. You know what's a vector, right? Now, when you use an organism to transfer it to the next phase of the life cycle, it's called as a vector, right? Now, example is human liver fluke, right? I have given the example image यहाँ पे दिया हूँ. You can have a look at that. It depends on two intermediate hosts, a snail and a fish, right? A snail and a fish, right? To complete its life cycle, right? The malarial parasite needs a vector. Remember Anopheles, right? Now, it also requires a vector to spread to other hosts, right? So these are examples where you require one or two intermediate hosts or vectors to facilitate parasitization of its primary host, right? ना अब यहाँ पर ये जो ह्यूमन लिवर फ्लूक है उसका प्राइमरी होस्ट कौन है? ह्यूमन, नाम से मालूम पड़ता है. लेकिन उसको लाइफ साइकिल खत्म करने के लिए डज इट रिक्वायर अ स्नेल एंड अ फिश? है कि नहीं? वैसे ही मलेरियल पैरासाइट रिक्वायर्स ओनली वन, द फीमेल एनोफिलिस. ठीक है ना? Okay. Now, majority of the parasite harm the host. That is but obvious. They may reduce the survival of the host, growth, reproduction of the host, reduce its population density. They will make the host more vulnerable to predation by making it physically weak also. Now, we have two types of parasites, right? One which are on the host, ectoparasites, right? And one which are in the host, which are endoparasites. Right? So lice on human, ecto. Ticks on dogs, ecto. Right? See, I have an image here. Marine fishes are infested with ectoparasitic copepods. Copepod is a small organism, parasitic. Now, can you see the orange patches? This is a radiographic view of a fish actually. जिसमें they have shown these copepods, right? पूरे body में देखो copepods चिपके हुए उसके, right ना? On this fish. Cuscuta, अरे ये तो पढ़ा हुआ अपना है, right ना? Cuscuta is a parasitic plant that is commonly found growing on hedge plants. It has lost its chlorophyll and leaves in the course of evolution, right now. So it's also an ectoparasite. Endoparasites are those that live inside the host body at different sites. Liver, kidney, lungs, red blood cells. Life cycle more complex. Specialization hai, right? Endoparasites में we've studied Aschelmanthus, right? ना Pneumathelminthus, right? ना पढ़ा हम लोग ने कि they are all endoparasites. Now, one of the fascinating examples of parasitism is brood parasitism, right? Where the parasitic bird lays its eggs in the nest of the host and lets the host incubate them, right? Can you see? Alag Yes, right. During the course of evolution, the eggs of the parasitic bird, have evolved to resemble the host egg in size and color. So the host bird cannot detect the foreign eggs, right? This is called brood parasitism. Brood parasitism, right? Very, very fascinating example of parasitism. The fourth relationship in nature is commensalism. Commensalism. One species benefits and the other is neither harmed nor benefited, right? ना तो अपने कितने अभी तक हो गए? वी आर डन विद प्रेडेशन, पैरासिटिज्म हो गया, राइट? कंपटीशन हो गया, ये चौथा कर रहे हैं हम लोग, कमेंसालिज्म, ठीक है ना? सो अब एक प्लस है और एक जीरो है, बराबर ना? सो वन स्पीशीज बेनिफिट्स and the other is neither harmed nor benefited. Let us see examples which are given in the NCERT. Orchid growing as an epiphyte on a mango branch. Epiphytic plants पढ़ा है हमने. What's an epiphyte? An epiphyte is some phyta plant, na? A epiphyte is a plant which grows on another plant only for support. So is the orchid parasite on the mango? No, it's an epiphyte. It is only growing for support. So here who is benefiting? The orchid. But mango, it remains neutral. It is not harmed in any way. Barnacles, remember I told you Cathameles का example आया था अपने को, right? Now barnacles growing on the back of a whale. You see these white patches? These are all barnacles growing on the back. So they get a place to stay. The whale is not affected by the barnacle. The cattle egret, this bird is called as the cattle egret. And see now where the cattle graze, na, these birds are on the lookout for small worms which are inside the ground. So when the cattle they graze, they pick up the grass from the ground, and in the process the worms also come out from the soil layer below, and they can feed on that. So who's getting benefited? The cattle egret is getting benefited. The grazing cattle does not make any difference to them. So it's a commensalism. The last example is sea anemone and clownfish. The sea anemone and clownfish, right? The sea anemone, remember na? याद है? Adamsia, right? पढ़ा हम लोग ने. Sea Lintrata. Okay. Now, उसका tentacles है, right? The clownfish, it gets inside the tentacles. And as a result of it, the clownfish is saved from predator because इसके tentacles में stinging cells, cnidoblasts, तो predators से बच जाता है. तो इसका फायदा हो गया. But clownfish को sea animal को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. So again, it's an example of commensalism. Commensalism में सिर्फ ये 4 example है. I think आगे 1-2 example है, मैं दूंगा तुम लोगों को. Right? These 4 examples are mentioned in the NCERT. Lastly, we come to mutualism. नहीं, sorry, commensalism बाकी है. Second last, mutualism. Now, mutualism में plus, right? Win-win situation for both of them. Symbiosis भी बोल दो चलेगा, उसको कोई problem नहीं है. The interaction gets benefits on both the species, right? Very prominent example, lichen, right? Lichen combination of algae and fungus, right? This is how lichen appear on the bark of the tree. So between a fungus and a photosynthesizing algae or a cyanobacteria. Mycorrhiza, this also you studied. Myco, fungus, rhiza, root. So between the fungus and the roots of higher plants, Pinus example था, याद कर लो, plantae में पढ़ा हम लोग ने. The fungi help the plant in absorption of nutrients. Now look at this. This is without mycorrhiza. इसके roots का extent देखो. This is with mycorrhiza. देखो ये fungus कितना absorption capacity बढ़ा देगा उसका, right? So what does the plant do? It provides the fungus with carbs. Photosynthesis करता है, carbohydrate manufacture, तो fungus को carbs मिलते हैं. In return, what does the fungus do now? It helps in absorption of essential nutrients, especially phosphorus, from the soil for them. Okay? So this is how both of them are benefiting each other, right? But the most exotic, right? Most spectacular relationship of mutualism is in the plant-animal relationship. Why? Because plants require animals for pollinating their flowers. Right? We've studied pollination, एकदम detail में पढ़ा pollination. We've studied types of animal pollination, right? Insect pollination, ant pollination, bat pollination, bird pollination. So both of them require each other. Animals obviously have to be paid fees, right? ना उनकी services के लिए that plants expect from them. Plants return में क्या offer करेगा? Rewards in the form of pollen, nectar, edible part, juicy, nutritious food, right? ना? That is the payment by the plant which is done to the animal. Animals return में क्या करेंगे? Pollination हो जाएगा. So this is also a case for mutualism. Now a few examples here. Plant animal interaction also often involve coevolution. देखो coevolution वापस आ गया. That is, evolution of flower and the pollinator species are tightly linked. Right? अब यहाँ पे जो एग्जाम्पल मैं पढ़ने वाला हूं ना, वो तुमको किसका याद दिलाएगा? यूका मोथ. Right? See now, in many species of fig trees, fig, ficus, fig का fruit याद आ रहा है? Syconus, composite fruit. Right? Fig trees. There is a tight one-to-one relationship with the pollinator species. इसका pollination is done by a wasp. Wasp. Now, this wasp is specific. इसलिए उसको partner wasp बोला है. No other species can pollinate this. What does the female wasp use? The fruit as a egg-laying site. It lays its eggs in the fruit. But लेकिन uses the developing seeds for nourishing the larvae. Yucca का भी same था. Right? So the wasp is pollinating the fig inflorescence. Inflorescence. Composite fruit है ये. Syconus, fig inflorescence, while searching for suitable egg-laying sites. And in return, the fig offers the wasp some of the developing seeds for the larvae of the wasp. So are both getting benefited, right? So this is one example of mutualism. Next वाला तो तुम्हारा एकदम favorite है. दिख गया? Orchid, right ना? Orchid and wasp वाला, right ना? याद आ रहा है? Pseudocopulation, Ophrys speculum, sexual deceit. Right? I don't need to repeat this example. You have already done this, right? Now, petal of a flower has a resemblance to the female. So the male is attracted to the flower, thinking that it is a female, but actually it is a petal, right? And it is pseudo-copulating the flower in the process, dusting the pollen with the flower, right? So these are some examples of mutualism in nature. And lastly, we've got amensalism. Now, amensalism last में एकदम टेबल में लास्ट में था, where one of the organism is affected and the other remains neutral. Now, please remind me, amensalism का कुछ भी डिस्कशन एनसीईआरटी में नहीं है. No discussion of amensalism except वो टेबल में amensalism mentioned है. Right? So I'm giving you one example. Right? Now, let's say if there is a penicillin, right? Now, you know penicillin is coming from the fungus Penicillium notatum. Right? So what does the fungus penicillin secrete? Does it secrete the antibiotic penicillin? Right? Penicillin. Now, अगर इस फंगस के बाजू में एक बैक्टीरिया रख दिया आपने, समझो स्ट्रेप्टोकोकस, the fungus secretes penicillin which will harm the bacteria. Getting this, please? So it will kill that bacteria. So who's getting harmed in the process? Right? Right? The bacteria is getting harmed, but the fungus is unmoved or neutral. So this relation is an example of amensalism. Amensalism, right? Counting the 6 relationships again, everybody please. Right now, so first we did was predation, उसके बाद competition किया, parasitism किया, commensalism, mutualism and amensalism. 6 type of relationship we have done. Now, थोड़ा extra points अभी. See, when you're doing mutualism, mutualism is same as symbiosis,
राइट ना? वहां पे कभी कभी एक एक्स्ट्रा वर्ड आएगा, मे बी कभी लोग डाल देंगे प्रोटो कोऑपरेशन ना। यहां पर भी नो टू ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर बेनिफिटिंग ईच अदर ओनली, सेम है, बट थोड़ा सा एक एक पॉइंट का डिफरेंस है खाली। नाउ व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस हियर, सिम्बायोसिस। सी म्यूचुअलिज्म में एग्जांपल क्या था, लाइकन का था, वहां पे फंगस आगे साथ में था, है कि नहीं? सो देयर दे बोथ रिक्वायर ईच अदर कंपल्सरीली, उनका सर्वाइवल पॉसिबल नहीं है उसके बदले में, बट यहां पे दे कैन सर्वाइव विदाउट ईच अदर, अनलाइक इन द केस ऑफ म्यूचुअलिज्म, राइट? द crocodile bird and the crocodile, right? The crocodile bird is a very common image seen. In the teeth of the crocodile, the leech is getting, leech atak jata hai, so the crocodile bird, it helps to remove free dental session for the crocodile. And there is a bird called as oxpecker. Can you see a small bird here on top of the rhino, right? So it helps to clean the thick skin, right, by taking out small organisms from there. So both are benefiting each other, but they are not dependent for their survival on each other. This is a small difference when you use the word proto cooperation. Commensalism में कुछ extra examples, as I said before, right? Golden jackals, they trail behind a particular tiger. So whatever the tiger kills and थोड़ा बचा कुचा रहेगा तो this golden jackal will take that. So golden jackal का फायदा हो गया, and it does not make any difference to the tiger. So it's commensalism here. This is one more interesting example. Sea anemone is found attached to snail shell, right? The sea anemone and the snail shell, it is used as a portable home by the crab, right? Now, जो snail का shell है, it's used as a portable home by the crab. So can you see this crab here and the sea anemone? Sea anemone, mind you, sedentary है, Coelenterata, right? ना? Polyp type है. So this is sedentary. So ये इसने क्या किया, अपने आप को hermit crab के ऊपर अटैच कर लिया. तो अब hermit crab तो मोटाइल है, तो इसको भी मोटिलिटी मिल गया ना, इसको मोटिलिटी मिला मतलब इसके फूड के चांसेस बढ़ गए, अनलाइक इट वाज सेडेंटरी बिफोर, बट नो डिफरेंस टू द क्रैब नाउ, राइट ना? सो दिस इज एन एग्जांपल अगेन बाय कमेंसालिज्म. तीसरा एग्जांपल है, दिस इज सकर फिश, नो सॉरी, दिस इज अ पायलट फिश, रेमोरा. देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ फिशेस, सकर फिश एंड पायलट फिश. बोथ आर एसोसिएटेड विद द शार्क. एक अटैच करता है, एक अटैच नहीं करता है, राइट? तो जहां भी शार्क जाएगा वो साथ में जाएगी. And whatever the shark is hunting, the leftover food is taken by these fishes. And the difference is suckerfish attach karta hai, pilot fish accompanies the shark without getting attached to it. Right? So these are three extra examples of commensalism. Right? So with this, we finish the entire third topic. Right now, वो population interaction वाला topic है. 6 different types of interactions we have discussed here. Right? Okay. Thanks a lot.